This is I know we have a crumbling infrastructure, we have a widening wealth gap, we have an ongoing genocide, but what people are really upset about is this Oscar so-called snub that you may have heard about. And before I even get into this, I'm once again going to point out all the people I know in the arts have not had fucking shit to say about Gaza. They do not have shit to say about that, but oh boy, do they have a lot to say about this. For Barbie fans online, a bitterly ironic Oscar snub. When the 2024 Oscar nominations were announced this morning, the snubs of the two most prominent women involved in Barbie, the director Greta Gerwig and the lead actress Margot Robbie, became the breakout story. The top-grossing film of 2023, passing the $1 billion mark worldwide, is based on the imagined life and times of the iconic Mattel doll. A cultural phenomenon in its own terms, Barbie, along with Oppenheimer, became half of an unusually thoughtful summer blockbuster duo released on the same day in July, Barbenheimer, nothing to sneeze at. As it turns out, the internet has strong opinions about today's announcement. Note the Ukrainian flag. She is a writer, Charlotte Clymer. Let me see if I understand this. The Academy nominated Barbie for Best Picture, 8 nominations total, a film about women being sidelined and rendered invisible in patriarchal structures, but not the woman who directed the film. Okay, then. All right, we'll get into it, but it's very debatable that that's exactly what the film was about, but all right. The shitlib of horror himself, Stephen King, weighed in. The Oscar nominations and movie-going tastes have pretty much parted company. All right, I'm sorry. I just have to interject. You are Stephen fucking King, and you are just realizing that Oscar nominations and movie-going tastes don't have anything to do with each other. You work in a genre that is notoriously ignored by the Academy Awards year after year, The fucking Shining. Like, it doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter what the cinematic quality is. It is a genre that is entirely ignored. And you just notice this? Shut the fuck up.
They gave Forrest Gump Best Picture over Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, I mean,
Pulp Fiction should have won anyway, but Shawshank is better than Forrest Gump.
Yes, you're Stephen King making this observation.
Yeah.
Oh, like this just happened. The film wasn't completely shut out. It was nominated for Best Picture, while Ms. Gerwig picked up a nomination with Noah Baumbach for Adapted Screenplay, Ryan Gosling for Supporting Actor, and America Ferrera for Supporting Actress. But the fact that Mr. Gosling was tabbed for his tow-headed Ken, who discovers the idea of patriarchy and then attempts to dominate Barbie land before Ms. Robbie's character destroys gender-based oppression, was too much for some to take. Quote, "We're actually doing patriarchy very well," unquote, the writer Jody Lipper wrote in an Instagram story quoting a line from the film. In a statement released yesterday, Mr. Gosling wrote, "To say that I'm disappointed that they are not nominated in their respective categories would be an understatement." And in a statement to Variety, Ms. Ferrera said she was incredibly disappointed that they weren't nominated. Indeed, because Barbie functions as a commentary on sexism and a meta-commentary on its own place in feminist discourse, the movie itself was the first place some of its fans reached to express their outrage over the snubs. This one went particularly viral. Nominating Ken but not Barbie is literally the plot of the movie. That's from Brad Meltzer, who's also, I believe, a writer. Particularly galling for some were the awards garnered by Ms. Gerwig and Ms. Robbie's Barbenheimer male counterparts, Christopher Nolan and Cillian Murphy, for their work on Oppenheimer. This is Zoe Rose Bryant. Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie were as crucial to Barbie's critical and commercial success as Nolan and Cillian Murphy were to Oppenheimer's. Imagine the uproar if one or both of those men had been snubbed. It's wild how Barbie is Oscar-worthy, but not the women who made it so.
They'd have been flipping over cars in the streets if Christopher Nolan got snubbed for Best Director.
They'd have been burning down Paris.
You thought January 6th was bad. Wait till Cillian Murphy gets snubbed for Best Actor at the Academy Awards. You'd see nothing yet.
You'd have like an intimate slow motion montage of an old man getting up from his chair, opening a closet, taking a dusty old yellow vest off of its hanger.
Yeah, right.
Going to the streets. The queen of horror, Hillary Clinton, had to weigh in on this. Greta and Margot, while it can sting to win the box office but not take home the gold, your millions of fans love you. You're both so much more than Kenuff. Oh, she is still the Pokemon Go woman, isn't she?
Yeah.
It's
so great.
Hillary Barbie.
It's Hillary so great Barbie. How broken a woman she is. You can really take a lot of joy in just how bitter and hateful she's become since she lost. Because you understand that reference. It can sting to win the box office, but not take hold the gold. She's referencing that she won the popular vote but lost the election. She has to bring that up at every opportunity. That's a delight.
And the most horrifying thing is, there are Hillbots out there that took great comfort in that.
Well, yeah, that tweet did well. 30.9 million. Did you see what
Hillary tweeted? Yes, Queen. Oh.
Well, of course, you can see right there, as of last night, when you put this together, I assume 30.9 million views. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. Ken Klippenstein, I thought, won that exchange. Margot really should have visited Wisconsin. Nicely done, Mr. Klippenstein. But then my favorite commentary, you sent this over, was this from Fiorella Isabel, War Criminal Barbie Special Edition. That's pretty funny. All right, so what is our take? All right, so I should have some credibility here because you can go back in the archives and you can find it. I gave Barbie a good review. I thought a lot of the backlash against it, not all from conservatives. Like Crystal Ball was as animated about that as she was about Marianne. She was, but in the contrary direction. She was absolutely apoplectic about that movie. So it triggered some people. I didn't see that. I saw a movie that was very smart and didn't take the easy directions in every respect. I thought it tried to thoroughly examine the gender wars as they exist now and really came to the conclusion that it's not good for anybody. And everyone's kind of ridiculous, and everyone is kind of self-serving, and everyone wants to discriminate. And if you let them, they will. That's what I took away from it, which I think was more nuanced than what a lot of people wanted to see, like the people who are upset about these awards.
Yeah, I missed that show. I had one of those last-minute family emergencies that night. Which
I did it with Tusker, who hadn't seen the movie. Like she was just there to nod.
Liked it. Yeah, I liked it. It was smart. It was very good compared to what it could have been. Like, that's what was kind of key to Barbie's success, is that this is a movie. The source material is basically a set of TV commercials. And so you could imagine how cringe it could have been. And it wasn't. Yes. It was actually quite good. It was quite good.
Imagine they had made this movie in 1985. What you would
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead. Did you have a...
I think that you have to remember, first of all, just like with horror, comedy is a genre that has generally not been treated well by the Academy. Usually they go in for dramas and dramas.
Biopics, war movies, things like that.
Comedy is one of those. It's an old snobbery to see comedy as a low form. Right. I mean, there's going back to Greece, seeing comedy as like a low form relative to tragedy. So they will tend to snub comedies in general. Also, remember, this is something newfangled, which I'll get to. I haven't watched the Oscars in their entirety since Goodfellas. So apparently they changed it, which I didn't even know that until I did research for this segment. So now they nominate 10 Best Pictures, but they still nominate only 5 directors.
Yeah. So if I could just interject, because this was a point I was going to make. Now that you brought this up. So they implemented that change after 2008 when The Dark Knight was clearly like the zeitgeist movie of the year. That was a movie that had everybody talking, right? But they didn't nominate that for Best Picture because they only had 5 slots. What won Best Picture that year? Slumdog Millionaire. Anybody remember that movie exists? No. So The Dark Knight was clearly the film of the year. And so there was a lot of backlash to the fact that this huge movie got snubbed. Heath Ledger won the Oscar for his role, but the movie itself was largely ignored, didn't get a director nomination, a picture. So after that, they changed it where you could nominate up to 10 in the Best Picture category, but everything else had to be was capped at 5 in terms of the personnel, the directors, the actors, and the writers, and things like that.
So that's their way of trying to acknowledge popular tastes while maintaining their snootiness.
Exactly. And so that's what that so that rule change was really to accommodate movies like Barbie, which are good. It's not a great movie. It's a good movie. Very good considering it could have been really bad. Like very good compared to what it could have been. But not a very good movie. A good movie that was this huge success at the box office, made this cultural impact. They expanded the category to 10 so that they could give them a nod in the Best Picture category. They don't have the same flexibility in the other categories. And the movie is not a great movie. And so I don't think the director was snubbed. I don't think Margot Robbie was snubbed. She was fine in it. Wasn't a great performance. I haven't seen all the movies this year, so I don't know what the competition was in the lead actress category. But America Ferrera got nominated, and Gerwig got nominated for a screenplay, and the movie got Best Picture. So what's the problem?
All right. Well, since we're getting into this now, people buy Redken. No, that's not what we're here for. So since we got into this, so let's make this point. Let's look at what got nominated. So American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. All right, so if anything, when you look at that list, it seems kind of like they bent over backwards to nominate Barbie because it was a zeitgeist film. You look at this, which one of these is not like the others? All of these others are very typical Oscar nominees, and Barbie is the exception. So Best Actor, and again, I mean, this is how the Academy Awards have always gone. It's usually a few films that, give them a hard on, and those get all the nominations, right? So you're going to see the same films over and over again. Bradley Cooper, Maestro, Coleman Domingo, Rustin, that one I don't know. Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer. So Best Actress, okay, it looks like pretty stiff competition, and it looks like it's pretty fair against these because, as Keaton pointed out, Margot Robbie was fine. There are a dozen other actresses you could probably name off the top of your head that would have done just as well, if not better. It wasn't one of those, oh my God, I can't believe what she did. I mean, it's Barbie. You know?
She's like, mid, as that Australian guy that Nick Adams said. She's mid. She's mid.
Annette Bening in Naiad, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller, Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan, Maestro, Emma Stone, Poor Things. So I'd like to ask the people who feel Margot Robbie was snubbed, which of these women you would remove to put her in? Like, which of these women do you feel didn't deserve it as much as Margot Robbie for being pretty? Right. I mean, she was fine.
It was good casting. I mean, she's the perfect person to play that role. But they got five slots, and it was a competitive year, it seems.
Yeah, like I'm not a Margot Robbie hater. She seems like a perfectly nice person. She doesn't say anything stupid like "I hate Barbie." Like she doesn't pull a Rachel Zegler kind of thing in interviews. Barbie, I always found Barbie terrifying. Like, why are you giving me this doll? You know, she doesn't.
She didn't go on a fuck Barbie press tour when she was promoting the movie,
as they call it now in Hollywood. She didn't pull a Zegler.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And okay, so best director. You know what? You know what you notice when you look at this? A lot of the directors of these films are not listed as best director, including Bradley Cooper. He's not there. He's not there. His movie is there. Maestro's there. He's not there. So she's not the only person. You could say, oh, well, all the other directors got nominated. They didn't. Stanley Kubrick never won a best directing Oscar.
Right.
So she did get the adapted screenplay thing, which, you know, from my experience of the Oscars, they will tend to try to balance things out like that very often.
Well, at this point, she'll likely win it because the voters are going to feel pressure to give Greta Gerwig an Oscar.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, Whoopi Goldberg actually, in a rare moment of clarity, said this. Like, no, it's not a snub. It's not. It's you know, it's very competitive, and you know, not everybody can take home a prize. So yeah, it seems like this is just one of these cases where all the usual suspects want to gin up a culture war argument in a place where it just really doesn't apply or belong. I'll tell you what, as if you're a feminist and you really want to get treated like everybody else, welcome to everybody else. This is what it's like to be in this business. How do you even make this argument when Greta Gerwig was put in charge of a multi-million-dollar production with hundreds of people working under her, right? Not over, under her. So, and let me just say, I love that Greta Gerwig was given that job. I thought Lady Bird was great. And in terms of the argument, a lot of people make that, yes, we need more voices. Yes, as a lover of dramatic arts, when I see something like Get Out, when I see something like Sorry to Bother You, it brings joy to my heart because, yes, they've kind of played out these genres all from this straight white male point of view. It's played out. Like, what can you do with it that hasn't been done? So I see something like Sorry to Bother You, and it reminds me of those magic realism Terry Gilliam movies I loved, only you're bringing them to life again because the perspective is so different that it feels new. It feels fresh. Same with Get Out. It's a very played out genre, but you brought something new to it by bringing different creators with a different perspective. All of that is great, but it doesn't mean everybody gets an Academy Award. You make a movie like Barbie, you're probably not getting a Best Director Academy Award, whether you're male, female, or anything in between.
Yeah. And like I said, it didn't need one. I mean, she got the screenplay nomination. America Ferrera got Best Supporting Actress, and the movie got Best Picture, got 8 Oscars. So it did very well, all things.
Well, see, that's another thing. It's not like this movie got ignored.
No.
I you know, as a fan of much maligned by the Oscars categories like science fiction, like horror, like comedy, you know, to see people freak out about a movie that got 8 nominations, I'm like, you do not know the horrors I have seen. Movies that I love that got just absolutely ignored. So, you know, that's pretty typical of the Academy. And you got to remember, okay, you want to play in this world. That's not anti-feminism. That is feminism. She's going to get snubbed when you do a genre movie like everybody else does. It's part of the game. Welcome to the big leagues. That's how it goes.
Please clap.